Tegan Brown here of the Sports Kingdom. Today we'll be going through the entirety of the knockout stage of the World Cup. So yeah, today we're going through every single one of the knockout stages game of the round 32 all the way to the finals. So first we have Germany versus Paraguay. I think Germany we had pretty easy victory. Paraguay, they were alright against Australia. They did beat Turkey, but Germany did this for a great team. Besides, of course, they did lose to Ecuador, but they were to beat the Ivory Coast and to destroy Curacao. I think they can get the win here in the round 32. Then France versus Sweden. Sweden had a great game against Tunisia. The terrible game against Netherlands, and then an all-right game against Japan. But I do think France was just great. All three of their games, they destroyed Iraq, Norway, Senegal. France is one of the favorites to win this competition here. Then the first game, South Africa, Canada. That game is today. I'll go Canada. Even though I think they are playing Los Angeles and not Canada. I just think South Africa had a terrible game against Mexico. But hey, they were able to beat South Korea to get to the knockout stage, but I think Canada were the much better team throughout the entirety of the group stage. Of course, destroyed Qatar, they drew against Bosnia, but they did lose to Switzerland. I think Canada get the win there still. Netherlands, Morocco, probably one of the best games of the round 32. I think I'll go Morocco. Even though Netherlands had some good performances in the group stage, I think I like Morocco. Of course, they came 4th place in the last World Cup. One of the best teams in Africa. Yeah, I think I'll go Morocco to beat the Netherlands. And then this might be the best group round 32 game. Portugal versus Croatia, these are two very top-heavy favorites to win this, I feel, at least to go far. And one of them will be going out in the round 32. I'll go Portugal. But I really think Croatia can win. But I would like to see Ronaldo a bit more in the World Cup, so I'll go Portugal to beat Croatia in the round 32. Then Spain, Austria. I think Spain gets a pretty easy victory there, even though, of course, they drew against Cape Verde, but they destroyed Saudi Arabia. They beat Uruguay. I think Spain, one of the top teams to win this competition. Austria, a good team, but it's not quite at Spain's level. Then the USA versus Bosnia. I'll try not to be biased in this prediction as an American, but I do think we will beat Bosnia in the round 32 to advance to round 16. Then Belgium, Senegal, two, I think, kind of underwhelming teams at the group stage. Of course, Belgium did top their group, but barely took it to the last day. And Senegal, they were able to get the win. Dominant victory against Iraq to advance as one of the best third-place teams. And, I think Senegal will get the win here against Belgium in the round 32. I'm just not a big fan of Belgium. I think they're very overrated. Senegal, I think, have a bit of momentum right now. I think, Senegal will get the win there. And then Brazil versus Japan, a good game, I think, here in round 32. But Brazil, I think, will get the win here. Of course, they topped their group. Japan came second. But overall, I think Brazil just has a much more deep team, much more better players than Japan. Japan got some good players, but Brazil, of course, no, it's Brazil. The Ivory Coast versus Norway, I think that'll be a pretty fun game. I'll go Norway. I think it'll be a very even game. I mean, both good teams. Not quite like contenders, but definitely teams that can win a few games in the knockout stage. But I will go with Norway to beat the Ivory Coast there. Mexico, Ecuador. Ecuador is a bit of a weird team. They're very defensive. But I think I'll go Mexico. Mexico, of course, got 3 wins in the group stage. Ecuador barely got in as a third-place team by beating Germany. And I just think Mexico will get the win there. Of course, it's a host nation. They're going to play this game in Mexico. Yeah. England versus DR Congo. England will get the win here. I think pretty easily there. Argentina versus Cape Verde. Of course, Cape Verde, the surprise team of the competition. Of course, getting 3 draws in the group stage, getting 3 points to advance over Uruguay. But Argentina is Argentina. Even though I would love to see Cape Verde continue on its insane run. This is where it ends against Argentina in the round of 32. Then Australia versus Egypt should be a fun game. I think I'll go Australia. I think I like them a bit more if I do Egypt. Of course, they made around 16 in the last World Cup. Alright, I think Australia, they'll play good, I think, in the round 16. Switzerland versus Algeria. I'll go Switzerland. I think, of course, they had a disappointing game against Qatar to begin off with, but then, of course, they had a good game against Bosnia and got the win against Canada, top the group. While Algeria, of course, they had a very fun, good game against Austria. Overall, beat Jordan, lost to Argentina. I just think Switzerland will get the win there. And then Colombia versus Ghana. I think Colombia gets an easy win here. Ghana's a good team. I think Colombia is just much better team. Of course, they topped their group over Portugal. So, yeah, give me Colombia to win that game. Then, the round of 16. We got some good games here. Germany versus France. I think I'll go France. Of course, France won in 2018, came second in 2022. Overall, I think Germany has a great, talented team. I think they always be underperform. I feel like they're going to underperform in the knockout stage a little bit. And France has been so good this World Cup. So yeah, give me France to win that game. Then Morocco versus Canada. I think Morocco get an easy win over Canada there. I'm sorry, Canada. I think this is where the host nation ends run for you for Canada. Then Portugal, Spain, another great game. But I do think it's sort of the end of Cristiano Ronaldo at the World Cup. I think Spain's just too good a team. Portugal just does not have the level to beat a team like Spain, in my opinion, at this World Cup. But Portugal's still a great team. Yeah, Ronaldo's World Cup journey ends there. Spain gets to win around 16. Then the USA versus Senegal. We beat them before the World Cup. I think we can beat them again in the round of 16. I got the USA winning that one, of course, as a host nation. Brazil, Norway should be a fun game. Being a lot of goals in that one, but I will go with Brazil just to beat Norway. Norway's good. Brazil is Brazil. Mexico versus England. Sorry, Mexico. I think England will get a pretty, not an easy win here, but I think a good win against Mexico here. Then Argentina, Australia. So, of course, we saw this in the last World Cup in round 16, and Australia almost beat Argentina. But I think Messi will get a much more dominant victory against Australia this time around in round 16. Then Switzerland versus Colombia. I think I'll go Colombia to win that one. Switzerland, I think, is a bit of an overrated team. Colombia, I think they'll get a few goals there and get the win there. Now, the quarterfinals. France versus Morocco. I think we saw that in the semifinals last time, I think, if I remember right. But I'll go with France like last time. I know Morocco, great team, probably the best non-European team. Actually, no, best African team, one of the best non-European teams besides from Brazil and Argentina. But France is so good. France is a great team. So yeah, Morocco, their World Cup journey ends in the quarterfinals this time. And also, I think, even though it pains me to say this, is where the USA's journey ends at the quarterfinals against Spain. Of course, I will be rooting for the USA to go win it all, but that's just very unlikely. And Spain's so good. Spain's one of the best teams at this World Cup. So yeah, Spain will beat the USA in the quarterfinals. Then Brazil versus England should be a really fun game. But I think I'll go Brazil. England, I think England always disappoints. They have, in my opinion, probably the best team on paper all the time, but they just don't win. England just does not win. And yeah, Brazil, though, I think Brazil can get a win here against England. England's going home. It's not coming home. They're going home. And then Argentina versus Colombia. I think Argentina is the reigning champs. Can get the win here in the quarterfinals to beat Colombia to advance to the semifinals. We have a European matchup versus a South American matchup, and it should be both great games. First off, France versus Spain, the two best teams in Europe. Of course, France, 1-20 team, made the finals last time. But give me Spain to go to the World Cup finals over France and get the win there. Spain, man, I think Spain's probably the best team at this competition overall. They have such good youth talent plus good veterans overall. Just such a good stacked team Spain does have. And France also has a great stacked team. I think I'm just going to go with Spain a bit over France. And then Brazil versus Argentina. Can Argentina go back to the finals? Brazil's a great team, but I think Argentina does. I think Argentina has a better team than Brazil. I think they just play better. And yeah, that isn't a third place thing here, but there will be a third place game in real life in between France, Brazil. I'll go with Brazil to beat France in the third place game. Neymar gets a trophy and all of them get a medal there. But in the final, Spain versus Argentina, the best team in Europe versus the best team in South America and the reigning world champions from last time. Should be a great game. Can Leo Messi get a second World Cup? We'll see. Can Lamine Yamal get his first World Cup, or possibly many, because Spain can get to go and win multiple of these tournaments for the next few years. And it'll be a very fun matchup, but I just think Spain wins the World Cup. I think Spain beats Argentina. Argentina, even though they won last time, I just think Spain just has such good talent in this year's World Cup, and they'll win. Even though, of course, began the tournament off with a draw against Cape Verde, I think they'll finish it with a win against Argentina in the final of the World Cup. So who do y'all think is going to win the World Cup? Who do you think is going to win the knockout stage games? You think they're going to have much of the major upsets? You think who's going to be their dark horse? Who's going to run to the USA maybe? Will it be a team like Senegal or Mexico? Who's going to go on the run in this World Cup knockout stage? Yeah, that's Taking Brown, the Sports Kingdom. Remember to like and subscribe and check out the Instagram and TikTok Sports Kingdom on all 3 platforms. And yeah, Taking Brown out.